Hello!
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Claire and I's first live stream together.
I'm so excited.
I am too. Like, oh my gosh. So, when we met last week for like the first time, I was like, I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait for our Tuesday stream so we can like actually like be in action and then like chit chat with everybody.
This is so fun. This is my first time ever doing this. I'm very excited.
Me too. And I'm so happy that you're doing your first live stream on my channel. I'm very excited.
Yeah, well, I apologize in advance for any issues that or any weird things that I say on live stream. I'm not used to being live and not being able to edit my videos. So this is going to be interesting.
Oh, you're going to love it. You're going to have so much fun.
Yeah.
But if you would like to introduce yourself, you can do a quick plug of your channel, talk about like what you're working on, or anything else that you would like to share.
Totally. Yeah. So my name is Claire. I am on YouTube at Write with Claire Phrase. I am a young adult author, and I have a book coming out in July, which is a young adult thriller, which I'm actually going to be doing some work on during the live sprints today. It's about ghosts and missing kids and some kind of creepy horror-ish type Stranger Things type things happening in a very small Ohio town. So if that sounds kind of up your alley, then you should head over to my channel, and I talk a lot about the book and about my writing process. And yeah, that's me.
I love it. Very cool. Very cool. And for those that don't know me, I am Autumn Ashley. I am an author tuber here in the community, and I host live streams, and the content that I put is sometimes writing blogs or content videos, such as like tags. And right now, I think today I'm going to work on my world building for my YA fantasy that will potentially need to be a rewrite, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to worry about the world building. Oh my goodness.
World building is super fun. World building is the best.
So I think that was my problem from the very beginning, is I didn't do enough world building. So once they started to like adventure through the story, I didn't know where they were going or like how long it took them to get certain places, or like if there were landmarks in between that they needed to like kind of like hop into and like share like the story. So I think that was where I went wrong. But I kind of hoped that they would discover it as they went, but the story didn't really go that way, because I don't really think it's a big like plot heavy novel, because I really like the characters, so I want them to kind of drive the story. And then plus like I had like 2, 3, 7 different plot lines going. So that was a mess.
No, I mean, fantasy world building is so impressive. Like, I always find when I'm like world building, like I have never even attempted a fantasy world, and like I just always run into different things that I haven't thought of, and issues and holes in it. Like, it takes such a long time to create a system that you're really comfortable writing in.
Right, and especially if it's like a world that's like not like our world. If we're like totally reconstructing something like fantasy or you know something futuristic, but it's like a beaten down world that we're in now, it can kind of take a minute to understand like what's happening.
Definitely. Yeah, or even like people who create original languages for their worlds, like that is crazy to me. It's so impressive.
Yes. I'm like, how do you do this?
I know.
Like, I don't think I could ever do that, because like I only speak English. Like, I don't have other like languages that I feel like would be able to like help me create my own, but it would still be super cool.
It would be cool. Yeah, I don't think I'm good enough at linguistics to try that. It's
Agreed.
impressive, though.
Yeah, right? Like, I just need to focus on world building and finishing my first draft. I don't need to worry about languages.
Definitely.
And Maddie is here. Hello, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Yes, we were going to have so much fun.
I am. I'm so excited.
And Maddie is the sweetest. Thank you so much. And Leo is here. Hello and welcome. And Tessa is also here. And you are going to be going live in less than an hour. Very, very cool. Awesome. So do you want to go ahead and do our first 15-minute sprint?
Yeah, I'd love to. Let's do it.
Awesome. So we've got 15 minutes on the board. Happy writing, and we will see everyone very soon. I forgot to change it back.
That's an awesome sound.
I forgot to change that back to magic. Hang on. I'm going to change it.
That's awesome. I don't think you should change it. I think we should keep it.
So I had it as... I'm sorry. That is really funny. So I had it as magic, but I guess it had been like a really long time since I'd like streamed. And so it like reset everything. And then I was doing one of the sprints I was doing, it was like the power hour. And so I was like, I want a timer in between. And so I wanted it to be different from magic. But then I guess the rooster stuck, and I keep forgetting that it's now the rooster.
I mean, it gets your attention. It works.
So sorry, but I'll keep the rooster if you think we should keep the rooster.
No, I mean, this is absolutely your choice and your aesthetic. I'm just laughing about it. It's funny.
Well, didn't mean to throw us for a loop there, but how did you do?
I did pretty good. I don't know how many words I got through, but I got through about a page and a half of editing, which is pretty successful. How about you?
Good. Well, I pulled out everything. I got my notes and like my
Very
3
nice.
outlines, and I'm just picking away, thinking about what fits, what doesn't fit. I was looking at the world building, and then I was like, I think I need to go back to my story first before I do more of like the actual world building. So yeah, still world building, still figuring things out.
What elements of your story were you going back to?
So I'm rereading everything I have in the outlines. So like the whole beginning, middle, and the end. Because there was a magic system that I had. But I don't think it fits. But then, so the main story, like the main plot that I want the story to have is like a cult with like a side plot of this war that's going on. And it's like 90% war and like 10% sprinkled through a cult's little part. And I'm like, oh, great. So we're trying to figure out what to do. And by we, I mean me. That's nice. Yeah. And I really didn't want to start the story over because I love the story and I love like what I've written. And I've written like 50,000 words.
Wow.
I haven't gone back to the draft quite yet, so I can understand a little bit more of like the whole story or what I want to happen. And then I'll read and see if there's anything I need to salvage. But I don't want to start over.
Yeah. I mean, could you just like keep it? I mean, if your story's naturally going towards the war, will that just like, could that just be your dominant plot and then you sprinkle in the cult, or are you trying to rewrite it so that the cult is bigger?
I wanted the cult to be bigger, and I feel like there are some parts where like the war isn't very explained. Like I feel like I know a lot about like what the war is, but I don't think I've said a lot in the story. And that's like a big problem of mine is like I do a lot of like backstory for myself, but then like once the story comes in, I'm like, I don't want to reveal this because this is good, but like, I'm like, I should reveal it and then just get creative and come up with new stuff. But when you're like there, it's hard to let it all flow because it's all like, I don't want to give too much away.
That's super fair.
But it is a draft 0, nothing, probably like 5% of my draft 0 will probably survive anyways. So probably freaking out over nothing.
Well, I mean, the more thought you put into it now, I think like the less work you have to do at the end. I mean, not necessarily, but it's good to put in thought up front because then your draft is like slightly less messy than it would be otherwise.
Right. And I would have hated to have just like pushed through and then like, let's say wrote like another 50,000 words, but then like didn't like any of the story at all. And then I feel like it's better to figure it out maybe now, and maybe I can fix the ending, maybe not necessarily rewrite the whole thing, but maybe I can steer it to the direction that I feel like it can go, and then just maybe re-edit the first part.
Totally. Yeah, and I mean, you definitely like don't want to get a draft that you're not happy with. Like you don't want to push through and get something you hate.
Right, exactly. Like I feel like I would do that if like I wanted to write a whole novel for Nano. I feel like that could kind of be appropriate to just get all the words, but I don't. I'm not doing Nano, obviously.
Yeah.
But Charlie has joined us. Hello, Charlie. How are you? And Bethany is here. I am so happy that you are here. Hello. I am doing well. So far, so good. How are you, Claire?
Yeah, I'm good. It's kind of cold up in Boston. Pretty freezing. It's snowing outside right now. So
Is it really?
it is. Yeah.
What's the temperature?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to check, but it's a little chilly.
It's cold.
Cold. Yeah.
Oh, I know, Maddie. Completely forgot about the rooster until it happened. Tessa says, I used to have a rooster named Peg. Oh my gosh. That is really cute. Maddie says, my grandpa had a pet turkey named Turk. Oh my gosh, yes.
I didn't know you could have pet turkeys.
Maybe if you're like maybe on a farm.
Yeah, that's true.
Maddie, I did not know this. Oh.
Oh, that makes more sense.
That's really funny. Naturally going to war.
Just write things.
Right? What can I say? We write about dark things. Always confuse the type of bird. I understand that. I watched this cutest little video. This was a long time ago, but it was like this little boy and he was learning like how to read. And he pointed to a picture of I think it was a penguin. And he looked at it, he goes, huh, but that's a bird. And I was like, he's not wrong. but it's a penguin. It was so cute. I forget, like, I think he was learning to read and he had like the book open and it was like one of the pages had a penguin. It was so cute.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, do we want to go ahead and jump into another sprint?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Do we want to do something around 20 minutes?
Sure. That sounds good to me. That's my sprint length of choice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Because I like to keep it lively. We're going to do 20:02.
Nice.
2 seconds, a little longer. Awesome. Well, best of luck, my friends. Happy writing, and we will see you all in 20 minutes and 2 seconds.
a wake-up call.
That is never gonna get old now.
Oh, that's awesome.
So how did you do that time?
Pretty good. Yeah, I got through another couple of pages. This editing is a slog. I decided about a week ago that I was going to change the tense of my entire project. So I am working on that now, which is tedious.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
when you're changing your tense, like after you go through and do it, do you have like an editor that you're gonna send it to? Or
Yeah, so I'm gonna work with an editor on the book. So I already worked the developmental editor on the book, and then I'm gonna get it line edited before it's published, just so I make sure that everything is very clean and very professional and everything, and readable, so there are no like mistakes or anything. But I am going through the entire thing, and I'm changing the tense and adding stuff because I realized that I have some scenes where I thought it would be like, I just think that the book would be better told in a closer point of view. Because a lot of it like focuses around some characters that can see things that other characters can't. So I wanted to like really be in their heads when they're describing these things that they're seeing. But it is a pain to have to go back and change everything. So I think I'm doing a really big sweep now, trying to change everything and add stuff that I want to and all of that stuff. And then eventually in like a couple of days, hopefully if I can get it done, I'm going to sit down and read through the whole thing. And make sure it reads smoothly. But I'm really excited about it. It's just like, it's a pain in the butt to like read through it and have to change everything. But I made it a couple of pages, so productive sprint.
Good.
How was yours?
Great. So I think I'm halfway, well, I'm almost done with going through all of the outlines. And I was rereading one of my notes. And it's really funny. Like, okay, so I have got to just share this thing that I wrote. Because at the time I couldn't remember the character's name. But so one of the characters, I did remember his name, and his name is Hagen. But he's supposed to be like betrothed, but I couldn't remember her name. So I was like, unless Hagen is still betrothed to whatever her name is she still part of the cult with a question? I was like, whatever her name is, like I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hashtag writer.
I know. It'd be like that.
Right? Okay, so I have a question, and if you don't want to answer, you totally don't have to.
Okay.
But the book you're writing, is that going to be a trilogy, or is it a standalone, or a series?
No, it's a series. It's a series. I think it's probably going to be a trilogy, unless it is a 4-book thing. But I think it's going to be a 3-book thing. I see it right now as a trilogy, but like as I start writing the sequel in a couple of weeks, I think I'll have a better idea of like where the trajectory of the story is going. But yeah, definitely a series. Definitely not a standalone. I have some really big cliffhangers at the end of this book. So
heck yeah,
hopefully, I'd love to see it.
Oh, that's so exciting. So
what about yours? Is it going to be a series?
Well, it was supposed to be a standalone, but then I was picking them apart and like talking about like picking apart and writing about the 3 different plot lines that I had, and I was like, oh, I could see how these could all happen in one world. But they could be like 3 different stories. So who knows? It might just end up being a standalone, or it could end up being something else. I don't know.
Yeah. That's exciting though. You get to kind of like figure it out as you're going. That's why like I still don't know what I'm doing with mine. So I'm excited to dive into the next installment of it and like do a little bit of exploratory writing. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I know. That's like what I love about writing. It's like, well, for me, it's like when like you asked me if like I knew it was gonna be whatever, I was like, who knows? But there's so many kudos to people who know like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like an 8-book series, this is gonna happen, and I'm like, you are amazing for knowing that, because I don't even know what I'm gonna eat for supper.
Relatable. I know. I mean, I also think like some plots can support that better than others. Like if you have like a world and a series that like there is, I don't know, like a really, really giant quest, like with Harry Potter, like how they have to defeat Voldemort, and like it follows them every single year until they're kind of old enough to have that big battle. But like you have other ones that are kind of more contained, and I don't know if there's enough plot there to contain like an 8-book series, but it's interesting as you try to figure out the world and your story and how everything fits together.
Yeah, it's very cool.
That was not a complete sentence. I just started talking.
There's no judgment here. But so Bree, oh, did I miss something? Oh, going on a rampage. That was for Bree, because Bree and hey Bree, and Abby had joined us. Hello, and that was because Bree was going on her cleaning spree. And Abby said that they wrote a to-do list for the day. Very cool. And planning out their writing session because you haven't done any writing at all this week. Oh my goodness. Well, welcome. I hope you can get some writing done during this sprint. And Maddie said that she talked to her mom and job searched. Very cool. Oh, the joys of the COVID world. Yes. For sure. Oh, and that's a question for you, Claire.
Wow. So essentially the story behind this book is, so I had the idea for, like, I wrote the first draft of this book during NaNoWriMo a couple of years ago, and it was just the most chaotic book in the world. It was like, there was this girl that moved to this small town, and there was this missing, like, teenager, and she just, like, got involved with the mystery of the missing teenager for really no reason whatsoever. Like, it turns out that it was like this weird ritual sacrifice thing where, like, the kidnapper ended up, like, taking 5 people in the town, like, including adults, and trying to, like, weirdly try to sacrifice all these people in order to, like, bring back their own, like, kid who died a while ago. Like, it was really just, like, a dumb, and there were, like, a bunch of deaths, and there were, like, fires that didn't make any sense, and there were all these, like, secret societies and gay, like, it's just the most wild, crazy book ever. And I read that book back and I was like, this is really wild and crazy, but I really like the 3 main characters. And I wonder if I could, like, turn this into a longer book that can span multiple books and not actually, like, just be a self-contained, I look for this kid and then we find the kid and then the mystery is solved. So I started trying to brainstorm how I could turn it into a longer project idea. And I ended up coming up with a sort of, like, world where, I don't want to, like, spoil the world of the book that is writing, but essentially, like, there is a paranormal element, and they discover that this paranormal element actually, like, there is kind of this afterlife, and there are these other, like, bigger issues that span, like, more than just the main small plot of the first book. So I think that if you're trying to plan a series, like, you should try to look for conflicts that are bigger than they initially appear to your characters, so that over the course of the first book they can discover things about it and realize that it's a far bigger problem than they actually thought, and then that can, like, span over a couple of books. Because usually if it's like, my objective is to, like, find a missing kid, you can find the missing kid over the course of a book, but if it's more complicated and involved than that, then that is something that can span into a series. So that was kind of my process for it, but I don't really want to go more into it because I don't want to spoil the book. But
yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that was a really great way of how, like, you took, like, your kind of like a small idea, but then, like, you started asking a whole bunch of, like, other questions, like, well, what about this? And what if these people do certain things? And then, well, this is, like, an everyday thing, but that could be, like, a hint towards something that could be something, like, darker, or maybe something in, like, book 3 where it's like, oh yeah, that happened in book 1. I remember.
Yeah. Totally. Like, with series, I think, like, a lot of big series, like with, I don't know, like, thinking of really, really big ones like Hunger Games and Percy Jackson and everything, like, with Hunger Games, like, they have a really big goal, like, to have this whole revolution. Because the goal is so big, there's so much stuff that has to happen in order for them to do that, which is how it can stretch into multiple books. And the same with Percy Jackson, like, the conflict is so huge that they need a really long time to gear up to battle it.
Right. So. Yeah, you're totally right. Also, I have another question. So I know you do a lot of videos that are kind of like how-tos and, like, kind of explain the process that you've used, like, for your dialogue and how you use dialogue, for example. Have you ever made a video about how to plan a series, or how you...
I haven't, no, but I do want to make a video on how to plan a series. That's a good idea. I should put that on my doc. Yeah, I'll put that on my calendar. I should definitely do that. But I also, like, haven't really started writing my sequel yet, so I don't want to give advice on stuff that I haven't done yet. So I might actually wait a little bit until I've written the sequel and, like, have an idea as to what the entire series is going to look like. Because like as soon as I have planned the series, I can tell people how I plan the series, but I don't want to go professing things that I haven't actually done.
Try this. Just kidding, it didn't work.
Yeah. Update, it failed. Don't listen to me. I'm an idiot.
Although that could be kind of a cool video where you said I tried this, but then you could have it as like didn't work, and then like say like what you did and how it didn't work. Because it's still like a writing process. It just may not have worked for you, but maybe someone else hadn't heard of it, and then be like, oh, well, let me try this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's really what like all AuthorTube how-tos are, like, because there is no way to like teach writing, and nobody is like an expert in writing, like, because it's such an individualized thing, and books are like such like no book is like perfect. Nobody's like an expert in writing, so people can just talk about what worked for them, and hopefully other people can like see whether what worked for other people works for them, and like build their own process. Exactly. So definitely like organic videos are good.
Yeah,
and I'm also still learning and trying to figure it out myself, but yeah, it's helpful to watch other people's videos and get tips and stuff.
I know. I love watching other like how-tos or how other people do it, because I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Like I never do that.
I know, same.
So do we want to go ahead and do our third sprint?
Yeah, I'd love to. Let's do it.
Awesome. Did we want to do something around 20 minutes? Maybe bump it up to maybe like 22?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Awesome. I'll pick like a fun number again. Well,
all right.
But I think a lot of things are fun, so, you know. Awesome. Okay, so we've got 22 minutes and 22 seconds on the clock. Happy sprinting, and we'll see everyone very soon.
Amazing.
Yay! So how'd you do?
Pretty good. Yeah, I've made just about the same amount of progress as last time. Just chipping away. How about you?
Great, great. Yeah, me too. I finished looking through all my outlines and I created a Google Doc and I'm writing out everything like for the 3 main plot points and trying to kind of compare them to the notes that I took. And then I think I'm going to re-outline.
How do you like to outline?
So the first time I outlined, I did the bullet point method. And I did it 2 different ways because technically, like, I have 3 different outlines, but they're all the bullet point method. The first time I did it by scenes. And then, the first time I did it by chapters. And then the second and the third time I did it by scenes to kind of break it down a little bit more.
Right.
I don't think that is the best way for me. So I recently, for Nano, I was working on another trilogy or another story, but it's part of a trilogy. And I did that a different way. It was like that 9-block, the 3-act, 9-block, 27-chapter structure. I was like, wait.
Nice.
And I really liked that method. And actually, Madeline Monahan, she is the friend that told me about that outlining method. This sweet girl right here. And this is how she outlines. And so I tried it for that book, and I really, really liked that. So I think I'm going to try that for this book. I think it's going to work better for me. It's just better structured.
Right. I've never heard about structuring by a chapter before. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. It was, I can't remember, but I found him on Pinterest, and he was an author, and it was how he did it. And he broke it up, and then he did, like, math to determine, like, if you have this many pages, this is how many scenes you need to have. And since it was, like, the first time I ever, in, like, a really long time, that I sat down to, like, actually plan out a novel, I felt like it was kind of, like, the best way for me to kind of just bullet point things. But I feel like as my writing has grown and I've become a stronger writer, I think I need something a little stronger. But it was great to get the initial out of my head and onto paper. But I think I need to move on.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many structures out there. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, no, you're fine. I was going to ask you do you outline or do you just pants it?
No, I'm a huge plotter. I love outlining. It brings me lots of joy. I like have different types of outlines that I like to do depending on the draft and like stage of writing that I'm at. So when I get to about the second draft stage, I do all of my outlining in Excel, and I do like, I don't know if you've seen, I learned this method from like reading an article on how like J.K. Rowling does her outlines or something, like how they're like rows and columns and like everything is a huge spreadsheet. I do that. So I like to have all of the different chapters going down and then all the different subplots this way. And then I can like write down, like make sure that all the subplots are tracking for every single chapter and all the main plots are tracking. Like I can just see everything right there. And then I can see if there are big holes and gaps. And like, I haven't talked about this in a while. Like I need to make sure that this has an arc and I can see everything in its own individual arc. And then when I write, I just make sure I go across and like have everything in that chapter. But it's pretty involved. I also like color coding everything. I'm a huge color coder with my outlines. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So what are like the other kind of outlining methods you use?
So with first drafts, I do a lot of like bullet points, and I just kind of like write down. I mean, I usually use a structure, so I'll like start with like hero's journey or 3-act structure. Or like with thrillers, like I'll like know all of the big plot twists and all of the big, like I'll know how it ends at the beginning and like figure out how I have to get there. I think it depends, like it's been different for every book I've written. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly like what my process is for determining how I want to write a first draft. But the past couple of times I've always just like written a bullet point outline, making sure that it fits to some kind of structure and then writing that and then converting it into the Excel spreadsheet and doing like spending a lot of time thinking about the spreadsheet and making sure that it fits and everything is like going the way that I need it to be. But yeah, I go color-coded bullet points, and then every single subplot gets a color, so I could track it through the bullet points. And then on
Yep.
the Excel spreadsheet, they just all get a column. So
Very cool.
yeah, love the plotting. I don't know, like I'm so not a pantser. I would not know what to say. Like I need to have an exact like paragraph summary of what I need to write, and then I can write it, but I can't do it without one.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I know sometimes like kind of, I guess this is something that I kind of experienced with writing like this project that I'm working on, is sometimes I feel like I would do too much outlining in the beginning. And then when I finally got to that point in the story, like I kind of feel like I didn't have as like the fire and like the excitement that I had when I was outlining it, because I'm like, I kind of know like what's going to happen.
Right.
So I feel like I kind of ran into that. Like I am still definitely like a plotter. But I feel like sometimes I lose like the spark. So I'm trying to get the spark back and try to figure out, even though I'm a plotter, how do you keep the spark when you're
No, that's super valid. I think, I mean, also like with first drafts, you also like have to explore the story a little bit and like get to know the characters. And like if you don't leave room to explore, then like you can miss out on learning stuff about the people that you're writing about. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of allowed to take a detour on like the first draft or two to figure out, explore the alleys.
Yeah, it's so sad then when you get to the stages, like you'll write such good scenes and then you have to like cut them out because they have nothing to do with the plot, but like they were so fun to write. Makes good bonus content.
That's right. And then maybe it can be like a little teaser line, like when you're trying to announce your story or say, oh, this is a deleted scene. Darn.
Yeah, I definitely have some of those. Gonna be, yeah.
I feel it. So when you do your characters, do you outline your characters before you actually do the like your outline, or do you kind of just write the characters as you go?
I think it's a balancing, like I do a little bit of both. I think definitely with characters, like you have to get to know them when you're writing a first draft. Like you can have a basic idea of who they are, but then like they're going to start to come to life as they are actually doing stuff in the story. So I don't usually like figure out what their character arcs are until the next draft, because I have to try to figure out who they are as people, because then you can see like who they are at the beginning and how they're going to change, and then you can start shaping that into an arc. But no, I don't do a lot of that work up front. Do you?
Sometimes I do, just to make sure I keep everybody straight. If I want them to make sure like they do something like certain and not anybody else.
Yeah.
I do, but I feel like I'm open to changing, and I'm open to them. Like they don't have to strictly stick to this. I mean, if they feel like they're going a certain direction, then I'm like, we'll just go ahead and wing it. You know, like there's no rules here.
Totally.
Yeah,
sometimes I'll have like an archetype.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I was just saying sometimes like I'll have like kind of an archetype, like, oh, this character is like a brainiac, or like this character is like a little bit sassy, or like I'll have that kind of vague conception to guide it, but then like they always become more complex.
Right.
As you're learning more about them.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that. Especially if the story's going to kind of change. You would hate to have them like really concrete.
Right, yeah.
Like, they have to be like this, and then they get stuck in a story that has changed and evolved over time.
Totally. Yeah, no, that's super true.
Right. But I do see that Jack has joined us. So hello, Jack. It is so nice to see you. It has been a while. And Maddie said, not going to lie, I zoned out for half of this. Right? That's fine. I appreciate your honesty. And Charlie left to grab some food. Ooh. What food did you get? Right. You lost me at food.
Yeah.
Maddie, I'm usually terrified of plotting because I'm always worried that I'll lose my... Yes, that's how I feel. And I feel like with Project Brina, I kind of experienced that. But I think it was all on me, well, obviously, because I'm the writer. But I feel like I spent too much time plotting things that weren't maybe necessary, and I didn't focus on the key points of the actual story. So I think that's where I fell flat. But I would agree with Maddie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Charlie agrees. They say that my character developed while the plot is being written. Yeah, okay. So you don't fill out a character sheet until about halfway through draft one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like that's the exciting part of drafting a new story. It's like you're getting to know a new world and getting to know new characters, and like you don't want to take that away from writing your first draft.
Yes, and like I love like creating the new characters. Like I feel bad. Like I feel like
Yeah.
some of the characters now they're not going to be relevant in the story. But they're like my children. Like I don't want to have to get rid of them.
And you can put them in the sequel. That's what I'm doing. I'm so excited. I can start like
That's a
introducing new characters
fantastic way.
soon. Yeah.
That is a fantastic way to look at it. That's awesome. Maddie, I'm still terrified. Yes, in draft 3 of your Hades and Persephone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel it. So, are you ready to do our final sprint?
Yes. Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Do you want to do kind of around the 20-minute again?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay. We can do, I have a good one. I mean, I think it's good, but, you know. Is this okay?
Yeah. I can't remember the year we had last year.
Oh, I forgot. Wait. We'll change it. Here, we're going to be optimistic. How about that?
Yes, it was much better.
Or should I do 2022? Be like really optimistic. Next year is
Yeah,
going
this is going to be our year.
Yes. Okay, so this is going to be our last sprint. We've got 20 minutes and 21 seconds. Happy writing, and we'll see you all soon. Yay!
Oh,
Awesome. So
yeah, I
how
feel so productive. I got
I
so
know.
much done.
I'm so glad. So how did you do for our last one?
Pretty good. I think this might have been my best one yet. Yeah, I tore through a bunch of stuff. It was good. How about
Yay!
you?
Same. I'm just chipping away at those three main plot points, and I feel like with everything that I've been working on for the past couple of weeks, I feel like it's paying off. So I'm very, very happy.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yay! Well, I'm so glad that this was productive for both of us, and that this was like your first stream. And I'm glad that it sounds like it was good. You don't have to
Yeah,
respond.
it was fun. It was super fun. I'm really glad we did this.
Yeah, me too. I love doing live streams. I love writing like with all of my friends, and I'm always like looking to have like new friends come on, and then we get to like interact and write together. It's always really fun.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yay! Well, I know that's everything that we're gonna have for like the rest of the stream. Did you want to plug yourself, or give yourself a shout out? It is all
Sure.
for you.
Yeah, if I talked a little bit about myself at the beginning, but if you guys are new to the stream, my name is Claire. I am on YouTube at Write with Claire Phrase, and I post a lot of writing videos and how-tos talking about ways that I like to write and things that I've learned that have really helped my writing. I'm also working on a young adult thriller that is coming out in July, so if you're into more like paranormal thriller, Stranger Things type young adult writing, maybe you could head over to my channel and check it out, because I make a lot of videos about the book and about writing process. So yeah.
And I have Claire linked down below. So it's like 2 clicks. You click the link and then you can click to subscribe to her, because she is very sweet, and I'm so happy that you were here, and I can't wait for, hopefully we can do a couple more in the future.
Yeah, definitely. That would be awesome.
And Maddie said that it was very nice to meet you.
Oh, it was nice to meet you too. Meet you.
And Charlie, you are very welcome, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day as well, Charlie. And again, I'm Autumn Ashley. I want to thank everybody so much for coming to the live stream and streaming with us. I hope everybody was very productive. The next live stream that I'm going to have is going to be on my channel this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a power hour. So it's literally 2 30-minute sprints and then like a little bit of chatting in the middle, and then we're done. And that is everything. And I hope everybody has an awesome day. And